Check, check, 1, 2. All right, I think we should have audio. Let me know, guys. Sorry for the delay, but that's why we're here. We're here to learn a few things about software, what's going on. Got it figured. I just need some headphones. All right. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Looking good? All right. Nice. Okay, we should have audio, I believe. Test, test, 1, 2. Let's get a pop-out chat. And back to OBS. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. We're gonna have to broadcast with OBS from now on, which is it's not too bad. It's just a pain in the ass sometimes. But I think we're pretty good. It was actually two cameras before. It was the webcam and then the my mirrorless. So I got a new capture card so I could actually get a good feed out of my mirrorless and do some tutorials for some macro stuff coming up here. But sorry, I'm hungry. But yeah, I want to come on here, make sure this works. I mean, I'm using my G Master lens on here, so it should be fucking crisp as hell. Not to mention just my camera, but I think we're good. Check, check, 1, 2. Ah, we are clipping like no other. All right, fair enough. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check. And that should be a little better. How we feeling? How we feeling on the audio now, guys? Thank you for working with me on this too. Real loud. Okay, we brought it down. We brought it down. Check, 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 check. How about now? More in the clear? Yeah, you guys internationally can get photo booth strips. You just can't, PLC just won't ship them to you. So what you got to do is you got to use a third-party shipping service, which I know is a pain in the ass, but hey, if you want them, you want them. Use a third-party shipping service, and they have a U.S. address. So you just do your thing through them, it gets mailed to them, and they just send it right off to you, and everyone's safe that way. I was bummed I didn't get this capture card in time for the GrowTube last night. That was actually a pretty good show, man. Everyone had a really good time, and I think even chat was pretty psyched. Wow, look at that. This would look so good on in macro. You can hear my mouse clicks. Sorry, my microphone's right next to the mouse too. Okay. Oh, it's literally on it. That's why. Duh. All right. A little less on the mouse clicks, maybe. I mean, you're gonna hear them, but your first Greengenes live stream. Don't worry. This is I won't really count this as a live stream. This is kind of just figure it out. Single video and audio. Yeah, we I only have 2 USBs to work with on my computer. So with that said, I can't run both cams and my mouse both cams and my mic at once, and I'd rather use my real mic than the I'm 100%. The only issue I'm having with this right now is it keeps hunting for focus, which isn't a that's not a software issue. That's just a camera issue. You can see it kind of like flickering. It wants to jump to the pick and place behind me. More light on me could do that. Isolate the background a little bit more, or just in general, just put it into manual focus and set it to like a little higher aperture. Yeah, no, I mean I see it. I'm looking at. I know that it was a little loud. Now that I'm looking, I got the mixer here, and I was definitely clipping in the red zone. So. I honestly, I didn't think mouse was very tough. I kept my mouth shut with the pulse guy. My thought on pulse is I need to do more than I need to do more than just know what the fuck's up. I run Trollmaster. The only downside of Trollmaster is you have to run RJ12, cable from fixture to fixture or whatever, or however you want to do it. But it's really not an issue for me. And then it goes straight in. It has no connectivity issues. So I don't know. Personally, without the ability to say it, when it just tells you like, oh fuck, it's a high temperature. All right, well, what if I'm in Vegas or wherever and like I can't get there? So Trollmaster to me, it's that same monitoring system as the Pulse, a little more wiring, but just as reliable and everything. But then you can actually take action on it, and you can take it as far as you want. Price wise, somewhat similar. The Trollmaster controller, for temp humidity monitoring, plus being able to do app and all that shit, you're looking at about $275. And if you get the router to do it all Wi-Fi, you're looking at $300. So it's an extra $100 to get Trollmaster. And then everything you do after that is more money too. So long story short, it's not exactly the same price, but for what you're doing in your room, I would rather have control. So it was nice to hear him. Chris is a really nice guy, and definitely nice to see someone like that in a hydro company. It wasn't just a tool basically. So he was actually cool, and I would definitely smoke some bowls with him. But yeah, I love the Trollmaster. I think it's fantastic. Cool. Yeah, this thing's hunting like a motherfucker. I'm not a huge fan of it. Let's throw it in a... This is gonna be tough. Where are we in focus? Right here. Okay. Alright, it should hunt less. I don't know if I'll stay in focus perfectly, but it'll definitely hunt less than manual now. That's pretty good. That's a crispy picture. At least on my OBS it is. I don't know how it's streaming through, but it's fucking crispy. Oh, it looks great. Fantastic. We could even, let's even get, let's get super nice, because it's not just a webcam. It's a 24-70. That's crispy. Nice. I'm sure you guys don't even want to be this close to me, but it looks good. Sun on demand plasma sucks balls. Photons are what matter, not what they look like. Plasma just has no output. I'm sorry. Unless there's something that come out in the last 3 months that I'm unaware of, plasma is just so low on the efficacy and output. It just can't perform. Red eyes? I always have red eyes. Welcome to the club. I'm stoned? No, I'm actually not. Haven't smoked all day, but thank you. No more lights. We discontinued the PLC6, so we could devote more resources and time and main focus things into the photo boost design. So we have heat sinks coming. We have ideally full fixtures that'll be coming with those heat sinks. Just working on the last couple things with the frames, but nonetheless they'll at least be DIY kits before anything. So that's all coming down the line. I'm not. So yeah. Anyway, the PLC6 we pulled early. We were supposed to have some stock that was going to last a couple months here, but a couple facilities wanted lights, and hey, no big deal. We'll give them to them. I think everyone out there, at least everyone who follows me on YouTube, the guys who are wanting PLC6s don't really they don't follow me that much on YouTube. They're more the HPS growers coming in, and they want a fixture. They've seen some of these rooms. It's very similar to them. As for you guys, most of you out there are really looking to like push the edge of what you can do with technology or output, and that the photo boost just take that over the any kind of COB setup. I don't care what COB you're using. Mid powers are just in a whole different class of efficacy nowadays. All right, enough of this. Oh. Beautiful. CMHs can push around with a square wave ballast. They can push up to around 1.6, 1.7 sometimes out of the fixture. But really, yeah, you're looking at around 1.5 to 1.6, upper 1.6s for a standard CMH fixture these days. Did I see the halo ring? Yeah, since this isn't really like a tech talk, but these are from Redshift PCB, Ohm's Law on Instagram if you follow them there. And what they are is 6 red diodes. He's using Samsung diodes, 6 red Samsung diodes on a looks to be 2mm board. They're all ran in one series, so what you drive them at is what you drive them at, and the voltage is right around 12 upper 12s. Pretty good. If you guys are running COB fixtures and you don't have you've got the real estate. I don't have this mounted, but you have the real estate on the heatsink. Like at PLC, we use all this and have the reflector coming out, so I can't use these for PLC fixtures. But anyway, if you have big heatsinks like this, 140s, throw them on there. They work. They're gonna add a great little 660 addition. And he's also working with some other spectrums too, like a Veg one that's got a 450, and then also an Emerson version that's, I believe, 4 660s and 2 730s on there. Don't quote me, but go check it out, Redshift PCB. What's the status on the heat sinks? They're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. People are dicks, is what it is. I don't really care. It's a Saturday. They've wasted their time coming to see me talk about nothing, test my gear, eat some strawberries in front of them, and click my keyboard in their ears on my microphone. So, joke's on you guys, motherfuckers. Mouse pucks? Great idea. Great idea. They work good. I mean, if you're going to be designing from ground up, that's why we went strips. Strips are just superior in form factor and photon delivery. But if you got a bunch of sinks laying around or this or that, or even if you don't have a bunch of sinks, it's nothing wrong to like build with a mouse puck design from the beginning. But if you already got the sinks, that's what I would do, because then you can save a good amount of money there. Plus, you're probably repurposing your drivers too, and yeah, they're a good little thing to have at your disposal. Four by 8 photo boost, 32 strips. Hydrophone light meter worth buying these days? No, not really. I've had this Apogee. This is the cheap one, the was it the 100 or something? 200 MQ200. I got that in 2011, and it's still working great. It's said low battery for the last 4 years, and still works great. But if I was going to buy a new one, I'd buy a Lycor again, or maybe the 500 series of the Apogee, just because I'm a Bruce Bugby fan. I wouldn't mind supporting him a little bit, but honestly, once I get up to that $500 price range, you might as well just spring for a Lycor. How's the golf game? Not too bad. I played Thursday in a little 9-hole scramble in the afternoon. Hit it well. Draw was overdrawing a few things, but not bad. What's up, Malik? How you doing, bud? How many people are watching this, by the way? I'm very curious of that. 130, okay, not too bad. That's fine, I don't feel like too much of a dick for a shitty stream. The fan noise is a little much, but we'll work it out. I really wish this was here for last night. The stream is so good. Can you make a light out of 4 strips? Yes, you can. If you're talking about me, no, I probably won't do that. That's a little too small for anything I'll need, but you can definitely do it. It'll just be 2 heat sinks. I'll show you. So here's 2 strips. So here's 2 heat sinks, 4 strips. Oh, dude. Whew. Sly, you're fucking on it, bro. Melted chocolate on these strawberries would be fantastic. What's my opinion on the Saber? I don't know. I have no idea, but it doesn't look like they're manufacturing it. It looks like they got it from somewhere, but I could be totally wrong on that. Don't quote me, but it's a little pricey for what it is, especially without a power supply. Do you design our own extrusions? Yeah, somewhat. We work with someone to do it. Like I don't make the CADs for them or anything, but yeah, we work with someone, tell them what we need, and then and that's how we got this extrusion. Which, like, technically we paid for the mold and a couple changes, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's just a fucking readily available heatsink that they screwed me over on. But it works, and that's what's important. It's not a matter if I can. It's legally you cannot send electronics like that. That's just, you just can't do that. Everyone else is doing it, is just doing it illegally, but it's up to them. Unfortunately, I have too many trolls and I gotta watch my ass. Beautiful. Can you see those in the back? No, you can't. I really like this now. Is the tariffs? Yeah, the tariffs are like 25% tariff. That's like my whole fucking profit, basically. So yeah, tariffs suck balls. Yeah, we could charge more for the strips, but the price is kind of set, and unfortunately, no matter what, even though it's not even close, we have more whites than the H Influx offers, on the same high density single linear form. So that's kind of our benchmark, is what we try to compete with price-wise, is the all-white strips plus a slight premium over them, but try to limit that as much as possible. Also, you've got QBs out there, so you want to be somewhat represent. You're on welfare now. What's up, Mouse? If you're just joining us, bud, I got a new capture card. It didn't come in time for the stream last night, but anyway, you've got R spec. You've got the regular QB V2s to compete with as far as price and how much wattage you're getting per chip, things like that, as well as mouse pucks. He's running at like $50 for whatever those are, 212 or whatever it is. It's a good value for chips. So that's kind of, that's what's setting the strip price. You got to be competitive. What's on the market, not just be a dick and charge what you think the market possibly could bear. Yeah, he heard us talking shit on mouse puck, so he was like, hey. I'm just kidding, Mousy. I don't think we were talking shit. Yeah, dude, thank you. It's on my Sony, so I've got that and my 70-200 on there. And it's in manual focus, so I haven't quite figured out where it's perfectly square. Because I think I'm at 2.8 right now. We're just wide open shooting, but it looks good. Background's blurred. Getting some texture on the beard. I like it. I think this is gonna improve it. I did it for some of the tutorials that I was doing. I did that live stream the other day on the light above me, and it wasn't up to par. It's just horrible. These whatever thing sucks. 1080 that comes in like 720. Yeah, it's HD. Exactly. The aspect ratio, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with it. I could stretch it, but yeah, we are clipping just a touch. We could just stretch. Okay, how are we there? We're filling the frame a little bit better. Compensate for that, and we're back. Better? See, this is the kind of feedback I need. So apologies for someone who wanted to fantastically, informationally stream, but this is unfortunately all about me and getting this set up. Failing mean wells? Shit happens. You buy enough of them, they're going to fail. I guess it makes sense because that shoots at 3x2 instead of 16:9. I could stream at 16:9. I don't know. That's just what I'll have to do, I guess. See, these are the things I didn't think about. I was just plugging it in, just trying to play. And you got Mr. Audio. I feel like the audio is decent. Professional studio with a shit show of a pick and place. We got pick and place, broken Mac, Himalayan sea salt for cleaning my bong, display so I can run the broken Mac, American flag, clones, couple PLC 6s, light bars, photo boost strips. I think it fits me well. I've got two right here that failed. I've got two 320s that went down, and I mean finally we made a lot of those. We made a lot of the CXP 250s. So as far as percentage of failure, it's super low, but I got 10 of them down here that are failed. But that's 3.5 years of operation on those, so At least they got some time on it. These 320s were basically almost DOA. They lit up and went through burning and all that, and then just failed in the field. So that was a bummer. Meanwhile, it's got a great foothold on the market. They make a good product. They have a wide variety of ranges. They do well on price. They are very price competitive, honestly. But a lot of the new manufacturers are starting to integrate like IoT and just generally more capabilities outside of just running DC, converting AC to DC power. That's at this point that's not revolutionary to have a high efficiency driver, especially when we're pumping higher wattages and higher voltages into them. It just makes it easier for the driver. So like the 320s, 480s, 600s, the Invitronics, the Powerlands, LSD, I'm sure there's probably 4 more that are capable of running in this echelon here. But a lot of those guys, ERP is a good one who's not quite in the higher wattage game yet, but they're doing really well for the lower wattage. But they're, like I said, they're integrating more, such as Bluetooth or a Zigbee controller or something. It's so simple, but it's so necessary, at least in 2019 and going on. Yes, salt works to clean your bongs. Salt, and I use 99% alcohol, and salt, usually it used to always be kosher salt. Big old rock salt, and I didn't have any, and so I had to grab some Himalayan sea salt, and like this is one of the ones with the grinder on top, but I had to cut that so I could just get the big rock so it doesn't dissolve too fast. And yeah, it's for abrasion, so like when all your resin's in there, like alcohol's only going to do so much, but if you get something that's abrasive in there that can actually have some friction and some mechanical strength there, you'll get it nice and clean. And that's like 420 cleaner. That's why it's got like the little sand grains and shit in it kind of feeling. For that. Yep, Fluence uses Powerland because they can buy in quantities and get a good price on Powerland, and it's a good driver. Pretty sure the president or the CEO is it's got some kind of high degree prize, but Powerland's good. Spectrum King's using Invitronics. A lot of people are using Invitronics. You'd be surprised at how many retail lighting locations are using ERP drivers over Meanwell these days, and it goes on and on. So yeah, Meanwell's not the only horse in the game anymore. Yeah, notification bell. I'm never going to tell you guys to hit that notification bell, but if you want to, feel free. I'll try to schedule my streams in the future. This was, like I said, I just kind of wanted to. Salt's in front of me. I have to eat it. It's just like. I'll make sure I schedule them so they're actually out there. If I do a tech talk, apparently Mouse is back on YouTube. He claims. We'll see if he ever fucking posts something. But if he's back on, we might be able to stream, get some tech talks going, and at least have some fun. Yeah, Cutter's good. They do pretty well at shipping to the US. It's not too high a price because they're in Australia. So if you're in Australia, fantastic. Or anywhere down there, fantastic. But even if you're in the US or elsewhere, they do pretty good on shipping prices. And they're official Cree distributor, so. Oh, it's like sunflower seeds without the sunflowers. Hire it next time you come out, just bring it out, we'll fix it. I've got drivers out the ass that I'm sure will work. Mm-hmm. Oh, YouTube didn't even know I was streaming this until like 2 seconds ago. I went through the back end, threw it in through OBS, and it just starts streaming. So they have no idea. It's not like when you go into the live setting. It's like, we're doing an event and it's starting here. Let me tell all your followers we're going live. Like, not like that. So don't worry, didn't miss anything. This is not doing anything. Not the owner, so you can't install too far. Oh, hire it, yeah. Yeah, but cutters, PCBs, be really careful with what cutter's selling for Cree PCBs right now, because they're the 3030s and they're just not efficient. It says 200 lumens per watt on the page, but they're like 168. Like, they're not even close. They're not even a Samsung like a 561C. So the 3030s are just, they're not worth it. And same with the 2835s that they have, and the current 5630s that are out in the market for Cree. Nothing they have is worth going over Samsung. Then even EB, the new bridge lock strips are actually pretty good. You should check those out. The new version, and then after that, start looking at like some Cree-based chips. The only Cree-based diode you should be willing to put your money down on right now, and I don't expect you to see it in the marketplace because they're still sampling them, and I'm still waiting on my initial order. So if you do see me in the marketplace, I've got to yell at some people. But it's the 5630 HE high efficiency, which isn't out yet. I've got a couple here, but oh yeah, forgot I'm on my list. But it's the 5630 HE, and it'll compete with the 301B, but the regular 5630 isn't even close. So just be careful with the Cree strips from anyone. I don't care who's selling them. Okay, I see what you're saying. So the PLC heatsink and 8020 aluminum, do they work together? No, they don't. They really don't. The problem is they both have T-slots. So how do you need to, a nut's in a T-slot, a nut's in a T-slot. Well, where are you screwing? You could use a lag nut somehow, but then you have a gap between the two, which is quite awkward. So the first batch of heatsinks will be, I don't want to say difficult to work with, but a standard 8020 setup is not going to work perfect. How it would work is if you used a corner bracket, like use a corner bracket like so, and this would go, it's hard to see without the so you got one that would screw on, or excuse me, flip it around, screw it onto here, and then that would mount to your 8020. Instead of before, how we just went straight up through and into the 8020. Now, with that said, straight up through, honestly, I think is the best option. So for the next batch of heatsinks after that, they'll be machined just like this with the center hole for access, whether you're doing series or a parallel series configuration, whatever the hell you want to do. But in addition, they will have either M4 or M5, probably M4s, maybe M5s, not quite sure. Some kind of hole right here, board up through, that we're going to not use the T slot on the heatsink to mount them to the T slot on the 8020. So that's kind of going to be the design. So it'll still be just like the Heatsink USA style right now, where you have one screw at the end going up through to the T slot. We're going to make these do the same thing, and then you can use the Heatsink's T slot to mount things like drivers, anything you want after that. This is, I don't know if I don't know if we were live. I know, but see, you grab that grub screw, but then you have you got this gap, and you're tinkering in there with a little wrench. It's a little awkward. You know how much people complain, dude, when they have to do one thing. So that's the kind of thing. also with the other ones, a lot more adjustable. I wish we could figure out a way to almost track light it in a sense, where we could like electrify some of the insides of the T-slots and actually run some wiring that way. That would be badass. But you could go through the 80 to drill through. So yeah, if you want to drill through some metal, you could do anything. I would actually suggest drilling through the heatsink and going back up to the 80-20. That's how I would do it. Or you could go the other way and you could do the T-slot into the heatsink. The T-slot on the heatsink it's an M3. It's pretty small. So if you went the other way, the T-slot on an extrusion, you're looking at a 6mm or a quarter inch. So that's a lot more sturdy. So I would probably go up through our heatsink, drill up through it, and just put a M5 or quarter inch screw like right up into that T-slot. I guess we'll make it quarter inch. Why the fuck am I make it a quarter inch? Duh. All right, Richard knows the other way too. Yes, you could do that too. So that's kind of what we're working with for the frames that we're building, the prototype frames we've been building. You can actually here and here you can put some. You can just self tap with M3s and they'll do it, or you could machine and actually thread them, and yeah, you could just put a plate at the end or some kind of bend. Some kind of like C channel that slightly wraps it and gives it a little more support. You could do that, or you could do it both. You could have your two end screws and your top mount. So yeah, there's options here. It's just a matter of what frame are we going to produce and make and go forward with that's going to be the easiest for a DIY kit. And the majority of people out there who, if you know how to do your shit, congratulations, you're above the majority, because the majority of people out there really want their handheld. They want the easiest, simplest solution with the least amount of parts, the least amount of things to kind of fabricate or do themselves, whether it be wire stripping or wire cut, the simplest things. The more of that stuff you can take care of as a company, the happier the customer always is at the end. And the less they can fuck up too. Do you want to address the whole Chinese quantum board crap? There's only one quantum board. It's HLG's board. They coined, that's their name for it. I have my issues with the fact they use quantum on a whiteboard, but nonetheless, the quantum board is theirs. Anything from China is not a quantum board. All they are is a Samsung board, a PCB with Samsung LEDs on it. As far as the bin, if you are in fact getting Samsung 301Bs, no matter what bin you can get the absolute highest voltage, bottom flux, and it'll still be better than most diodes out there. That's the reality of it. It's still going to be better than CO. Don't quote me, but it's going to be with the best COBs at their low drive currents. It's going to have a touch more wattage drop, but nonetheless, it's going to perform overall. The question is, in a 3030 package, how can you guarantee it's a Samsung that they're sending you? There are some really good lookalikes, but if they are, anyway, long story short, if it is, I wouldn't expect it to be all that horrible. Now, their soldering process, their stenciling, things like that, as far as their PCB and surface mounting process, that's a whole different world. So yeah. Like if you're running your boards, you're running at 85C, and all of a sudden you got diodes dropping off your boards. I've literally seen this. People have reported this. That is a serious issue. What kind of solder are you using? That's starting to, clearly it's got lead in it. But 85C and you're seeing diodes drop off, man. You got issues. So yeah, in LEDs you get what you pay for, overall usually, but you might get lucky. Do you want to roll that dice and see if you are the lucky one who who makes it out with like top bin Samsungs out of, you know, Hanson PCB over in China? I don't know. I wouldn't, but roll your dice. I mean, like I said, I'm waiting to move to the Cree diode. I'm a little over Samsung. They're not my friends. Cree's my friend. And so if two products are going to perform the same, I'm going to go with the one who I actually like and have more faith in. Plus the ability to have an all Cree board leverages me and my company slightly better. Check how you Hans. Check how you inputted your numbers. Make sure you actually inputted them as like a phosphate, not phosphor, and potash instead of potassium. That'll make a huge difference. Phosphor gets basically cut in half. Your phosphor, all the phosphor numbers on fertilizers are phosphate. Has a bunch of extra oxygen molecules on there. Long story short, it only comes out to about around like 43%. So if you had, say, 10 for, if your bag showed 10% for its phosphor levels, it's really only 4.3% of actual available phosphor to the plant. And potassium or potash actually converts down pretty well. It's like 91% loss between potash and potassium. So that one's pretty well. So say if you had like a 20 on your potassium, it's really going to be like 17 or something, I don't know if that math is correct, but you get the point. There is a deduction there, so just double check that. Other than that, I don't know, man. Yeah, UC Roots is just overpriced H2O2. I don't know. I don't know that for a fact, but if that's what it says on the label, yeah. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and walks like a duck, it's probably a freaking duck. I use a product called Oxidate 2.0. It's 29% or something like that. H2O2. It's same shit. Nope, PLC does not ship outside the U.S. It's just how we do it. Many reasons for it, but it doesn't mean you can't get them outside the U.S. All you have to do is use a third-party shipping service, which is what a lot of people have been doing, having no problems getting them. All that is just Google third-party shipping service, and they will have usually you got to find one with the U.S. address. That's the address that gets put into the shipping on PLC site, and we send it to them, who then forward it to you. It's going to cost you a little less, but the cost of international shipping is one of the reasons we don't. One of the many reasons we don't ship internationally. So you kind of know that going into it. You're going to pay a little bit to ship it across the pond, or either pond, left or right. So that's the best way if you're international to get photo boost strips. Why do I recommend the original Tribus over the Grow when the Grow is higher concentrated? Because the Grow is a different mix. The Grow has a different ratio that's tailored more towards nitrogen fixation. So it's different. As well as the Bloom. Why don't I use the Bloom? Because it has higher microbe concentration. Because I've used the Bloom. I've used the Bloom. I've used the Grow. I've used the original. I've used them all. And the times that I've used the original, my roots have gone fucking ape shit. And they don't do that with the Bloom, though I wouldn't expect it because I'm using it during Bloom. And they do it with the Grow, but no different than they do with the original, which I can use in either cycle. So that's why I use the original, because I can put it on any plants I want, anytime I want. And I've got 10 billion, microbes per milliliter there, basically. So every time I'm feeding in a 5-gallon bucket I've got 50 billion microbes going to work. No, Tribus is nothing like Recharge. I love the guys at Recharge, but the shit has so much molasses in it. It is so thick. It gets stuck on the sides of your reservoirs and your buckets. It's not something I would recommend for a hydroponic setup. It does have a nice balance and broad range of microbes, but like I think a 1 liter bottle of don't quote me on this. I did the math one time in another stream, and it's something like a quart or a liter bottle of Tribus is the equivalent of like 35 pounds of Recharge, as far as what they do. So it's just the concentration. Tribus is, I love it. It's great stuff, but it's nothing revolutionary. What's revolutionary about it is how much shit they put in it. It's that concentration that's winning there. I try to compare it to like Revolutionary War style, where you got just lines and lines of soldiers and soldiers. You got cannonballs coming fucking this front line up. Arms are flying, blood. Oh, it's like the Patriot. But what happens? People just keep marching, and that's those microbes. That's those 10 billion microbes. Just keep on marching, charging past chlorine molecules. Oh, you killed a few microbes, well, we got more. That's how Tribus works. So yeah, that's hope that helps. What do I use for spider bites? I don't get them. That's the only way. If you have them, you throw your shit away. If you're close to harvest, sure, go for it, especially if it's only for yourself. But once you got mites, get rid of them. If you really want to do it, take a clone and dip the hell out of it. Just continually dip it in neem or an organicide or anything that's going to be decent. Hell, you can even go like, you can kind of even go gnarly if you want to, and just veg it out for a while if it's something you have to keep. But honestly, if you get mites, get rid of them. Yeah, and Azamax is a good one with it, which is essentially just like a super concentrated neem extract. There's the active ingredients in neem oil. But then you got people saying, neem oil is bad for this or bad for that, and blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be issues with some in one way on everything, so. I'm telling you, you guys are all giving great advice in the chat for what to do for spider mites. You can read it all the time, but long story short, what is the best way to get rid of them? Fucking get rid of the plants that have them. That is the best. I'm not even going to argue with you guys in chat. That's the way to do it. Can't handle that, I understand, but that is the best. Probably don't need Lightroom open while I'm doing this. Or iTunes. Kenny D's got it, dude. He uses garden shears, just cuts that shit down. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go walk the dogs. It's like 4 o'clock. I've been ignoring my wife for way too long today, so I need to get back to the family. And I appreciate everyone stopping by, giving me some feedback. I'm glad this works because this was I don't know why it's taking me so long to get this, but we'll get some good garden streams going. We'll get some more DIY streams going, as well as weekend shit. Mouse, I know you're in here, so you hear it. They want it. Get your ass back on YouTube a little bit. Post some shit. Show up on a Saturday morning and hang out with me, and we'll have a good time. Trollmaster adapter LM14, LMA14, whatever. It's the F. But that's all I got. Figure out how to stop this stream, and you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. Peace.